Welcome, everyone, to Women on the Front Lines, March for Science's show featuring badass women doing phenomenal work all across the country. I'm Rania, Batrice, Interim Executive Director of March for Science. And of course, I'm being joined by the amazing Mary Annaïse Heglar. Hello, Mary.
Hi, Rania. How are you?
You know, I'm okay. It's there's a lot. It's a lot right now, but
to say the least.
Yeah, it's been a lot for a long time. So we're just continuing to put one foot in front of the other for sure. And, you know, usually Mary and I would dazzle you with all kinds of witty banter and amusement, but we have a tight timeline today and an unbelievably exciting guest. I'm so excited. So we're going to jump right in with the woman who really needs no introduction, the phenomenal, the fierce, former state senator, Nina Turner. Hello.
Hello, somebody.
Yes, hello, somebody. I love it. We're just so excited to have you with us today. And we're going to just dive right in because you've got a lot going on and we don't want to take up too much of your time, but we do want our audience get to hear from the amazing Nina Turner.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be with you and Mary.
Yeah, I'm very excited. It's great to have you here. I've been watching you from the distance for a little while, and I've just been amazed by your strength and resilience and I would say some challenging situations. So I would just love to hear more from you about what's your journey and what brought you here. And obviously my cat Blue is very interested in this as well.
Oh, wow. My journey thus far. And, you know, Mary and Rania, I got to say, even at this stage of my life, I still can say, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. You know, I still keep that spirit that life has so much to offer, and at different phases of your life, you're given a different assignment. And right now, my assignment is running for Congress in Ohio's 11th district, and I run and I serve in this capacity because I really do care about changing the material conditions of the poor, the working poor, and the barely middle class. I come from those three categories, and my lived experience keeps me so very connected and grounded. And I would also say that my maternal grandmother has played an extraordinary role in my life. And although she's not on this plane of existence, her spirit is with me all the time. And Rania knows about this, Mary. I'm not sure if you've ever seen one of my speeches where I give my famous 3 bones at the end. That's my ending. And everybody loves it from every walk of life. But that actually came from Grandma: the wishbone, the jawbone, and the backbone. The wishbone for hoping and praying, the jawbone for lifting your voice and speaking truth, and the backbone for standing through it all. Having perseverance, you know. So that's the quick version of it. And it really does drive me. Her voice and the voices of so many of our ancestors continue to push, and trailblazers throughout history who had a fighting spirit and who understood that we must stand and use collective power to help the dispossessed and the despised and the marginalized live good lives and dream bigger dreams.
As someone who is named after her maternal grandmother, I relate to that so hard. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
And I've heard the 3 bones speech 1,000 times, and I get goosebumps every single time. I need to just record it and like wake up to it. You know what I mean? I think that's what I'm going to do. Actually, we'll have that conversation a little later, but I'm going to dive into something that I know is incredibly important to you, and you talk about all the time, and you center so much of every message that you put out there, and it's justice. And one of the main pillars of March for Science is justice. And a lot of organizations like ours get into trouble for veering outside of what's our lane and talking about things like justice. So there's this like shut up and science mentality. And one of the things I've always loved about you is how much you center justice. I mean, in everything. And I just would love for you to share your thoughts, your perspective. What would you say to people who don't see the intersection of justice, equity, in everything that we do, everything that we're fighting for, whether it's climate change or jobs or anything, or COVID recovery, whatever it is. I would just love your thoughts on that.
Yeah, thank you, Rania. I mean, the intersection is there. The whole notion of justice for all in all of its forms. And that's whether it is social, political, economic, environmental, racial, you name it. Justice streams through everything that we do as human beings, or it should. And we should constantly have a justice mindset. And, you know, a social justice reset is what we need. I was talking to a dear friend of mine, Alan, and he leads a PDA, Progressive Democrats of America. And he was just talking about that the other night at an event that he and I were at, that, you know, we need a social justice reset. Every generation has been fighting for some type of justice, whether it was the abolitionist movement, the women's rights movement, the gay rights movement, you know, fighting to make sure that there were child labor laws, the labor movement, you name it. Anything that has a spectacularly important impact on the human condition is rooted in justice. And so justice in all of its forms for all is an assignment that we must all take up.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I would say that in the environmental movement, it's about justice and not science. So yeah, I think it's really easy for people to feel like they don't have a place in the movement, like they don't know enough, they don't have enough of a backing, or they're just not enough in and of themselves to make a difference. But I think the three of us know that that's not true. I often tell people, just figure out what your talents are and put them to work. So for someone who's young, or even not so young, who wants to be involved, what would you tell them?
Young or young adjacent, Mary?
Young at heart, or just new.
Yeah.
Let's just go with new, because you can start at 80.
Yeah, you can. Oh my God, you really, really can. I mean, even if we look at the presidential election as an example, I mean, it was.
Let's not go there.
There were no spring chickens involved. No spring chickens.
On the positive side of that, it did really reinforce that age is nothing but a number. You know, I'm trying to find good.
That is so true. That is so true. Good job.
That in and of itself is inspiring, because we only have two choices in this life when it comes to aging. Either we're going to die young, or you're going to be blessed to age.
Right.
And, that is a beautiful thing. And I think as we talk about the isms of life, whether it's racism or sexism, ageism is an ism. And the one thing that we all have in common, if we are blessed, we are going to live to age. And so we need to pay particular attention to how our elders are treated in a community. That is vitally important. What I would say is, I mean, Mary, you hit the nail on the head. Folks have to find their purpose and live a purpose-driven life. There's a book called Purpose-Driven Life that was written by a minister. I'm blanking on his name right now, but I have a quote, which is my quote, because I'm a quote machine, but this is a Turnerism. And I often say, titles are good, but purpose is better. Mm-hmm. I would say to the young or young adjacent that everybody is needed, even though we live in a society that makes many people feel like they're expendable. Mm-hmm. Everybody has a purpose. It's like putting together the pieces to a puzzle for people who love to put, that 1,000-piece puzzle and dump it out on the table. Every piece does matter to complete the picture. Mm-hmm. That's how we have to see life, that you matter from the smallest piece to the most awkward piece. The picture is not complete until all of the pieces are put together. Right. So that's what I would say. Know your purpose and live your purpose. Mm-hmm. Do you. Nobody else can do you. You are unique.
Yes, absolutely. I love that so much. And we talk at March for Science, we really talk a lot about how, the intersectionality of everything. And part of that is, like you're saying, we all have a purpose. We all have a place. We all have a place where we fit. So whether we're artists or advocates or teachers or elected officials or academics or scientists or anything else, we all have a place. So I love that visual of the puzzle too, because everybody can understand that, right? If there's one missing piece, the picture's incomplete. I love it. That's so great. Well, I've got a question that we ask every one of our amazing women on the front lines. And I've actually asked you this question before, but we'll see if the answer is the same, which it may not be, and that's okay. What advice would you give your 13-year-old self?
Oh my God, I would say, girl, it is hard, but you are ready, that you were built for this moment. Life is hard, but you are built for this moment. Don't fret. The trials and tribulations that you are going to endure, don't fret what people will throw at you. You were built for this moment.
Mm. Oh, I love that. And I feel like every single one of us could use that advice every day. 13-year-old or 30-something-year-old or 50-something or whatever. We all could use that advice. And that reminder, that might be another thing I record or put on my mirror or something.
Girl.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. That's so good.
Fight not yourself over evildoers. You were built.
Yes. Oh.
I needed to hear that today.
Yes. Yeah, I'm saying, I feel like every day. Oh, yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you so much to everybody who tuned in. And one last question before we sign off. You are running for Congress, as we've discussed, and representation doesn't only matter, it's imperative. So where can people watching go to learn more about you and your campaign and getting involved?
Thank you for that. They can go to ninaturner.com and learn more about our people-powered campaign. I am running on the courage to ask for more and being the voice for change. Change is going to happen one way or the other, and we must determine how that change happens and who benefits from that change. So I have the courage to ask for more. ninaturner.com. Come join us on this movement.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. It's always just like a breath of fresh air when we get to be together. And I just can't say enough how grateful I am for your sistership, for your allyship, for always, we've been in the trenches together for a long time, and for just spending some time with us today and letting a new audience hear from you and all of your wisdom. Thank you to everybody out there again for tuning in. Until next time.
Thank you.
One more thing for all of you out there. March for Science has teamed up with Change the Ref, an incredible organization founded by Manuel and Patricia Oliver, whose son Joaquin Oliver was killed in the Parkland shooting. We're teaming up to take on Governor Greg Abbott and the Texas legislature as they try to push through some absurd legislation allowing for people in Texas to conceal and carry without a license. It seems like the bottom of the barrel. This is a minimum thing we could require in this state and across the country. And of course, Greg Abbott is at it again and is trying to make us less safe once more. First, it was masks and COVID. Now it's guns. So we are coming together again with Change the Ref to take on this horrible legislation and call on Greg Abbott and this legislature to say, no, this is not okay. This is not safe. Police are against it. Communities are against it. This is not a good idea. So Izzy is going to drop a link into the chat, and you can find all the information there. We would love your help and support. Drop a few bucks if you can. Share it across your platforms and your network. And we'll be back again with more information on this. But please take a look and share this link and this information with anyone who will listen. Thanks so much.